There's a face in the crowd you always avoid. You know the one. The person who makes you uncomfortable. The one whose pain is so visible you have to look away. 700 years before Jesus was born, a prophet painted a portrait, not of a king on a throne, not of a warrior with a sword, but of a man so broken, so ordinary, so rejected that we couldn't even look at him. This is Isaiah 53. And if you can bear to look, you might just see yourself in it. Let me read you something, and I want you to really hear it. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. A root out of dry ground. Not a rose in a garden, not a tree by streams of water. A root in the desert, struggling, barely surviving, unremarkable. And then this, he had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. When I first really sat with those words, they unsettled me, because we want our God to be impressive. We want the deity who shows up in thunder and lightning, in gold and glory, in power that makes empires bow. But Isaiah shows us a different picture, a man with no beauty, no majesty, nothing desirable. The kind of person you pass on the street without a second glance. The kind of face that makes you uncomfortable, so you check your phone and keep walking. And here's what I realized. I've been that person in the crowd looking away. Not from some stranger, from him, from the very face of God. Isaiah doesn't soften the portrait. He makes it harder. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Like one from whom people hide their faces. Have you ever done that? Hidden your face from someone? Maybe it was a homeless person asking for change. Maybe it was someone at work going through something dark, and you just couldn't deal with it. Maybe it was a friend whose grief made you so uncomfortable you started avoiding their calls. I remember when my neighbor lost his wife, cancer, 43 years old, 2 kids, and I didn't know what to say. So you know what I did? Nothing. I saw him in the driveway one morning, and I literally pretended I didn't see him. Got in my car, drove off. I hid my face. Because suffering is terrifying, it reminds us how fragile we are, how little control we actually have. And when someone carries that suffering openly, doesn't hide it, doesn't put on a brave face, it's like looking into a mirror we don't want to see. Isaiah says, this man was familiar with pain, not just acquainted with it, familiar, like an old companion, like someone who knew suffering so intimately that it became part of his identity. And we despised him for it, not because he did anything wrong, but because his pain made us confront our own. Here's the thing that breaks me every time I read this. He wasn't suffering for his own sins. Listen, surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. We looked at him and thought, God must be punishing him. He must have done something to deserve this. It's what we always do, isn't it? When we see someone suffering, we need an explanation. We need them to have earned it somehow. Because if they didn't, if suffering is random, if pain is arbitrary, then it could happen to us. And then Isaiah gives us the line that changes everything. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. Pierced for our transgressions, not his own, ours. I need you to hear what's happening here. This isn't metaphor. This isn't poetry for poetry's sake. This is substitution. This is someone stepping into the space where we were supposed to stand, taking the blow that was meant for us, carrying the weight we couldn't carry. And here's where it gets personal for me. I spent most of my 20s running from God. And I don't mean in some dramatic, rebellious way. I just drifted, made decisions I knew were wrong, hurt people I loved, built a life that looked fine on the outside but felt hollow on the inside. And the whole time I told myself I was fine, that I'd deal with it later, that I wasn't really that bad. But then one night, I was alone in my apartment, 2 a.m., couldn't sleep. I read Isaiah 53 for the first time in years, and I got to that line. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way. And I just broke. Because that was me. That is me. Wandering, doing my own thing, convinced I knew better. And the whole time someone was carrying the cost of my wandering. The next verse gutted me. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all of it. Every selfish choice, every lie. Every time I chose comfort over love, ego over humility, my way over his way, it was laid on him. Here's what might be the most devastating part of the prophecy. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. He didn't fight back. He didn't defend himself. He didn't call down legions of angels or prove his power or demand justice. He was silent. Why? Because if he defended himself, we'd be left defenseless. If he saved himself, we'd be lost. If he called down judgment on his accusers, who would be left standing? Isaiah keeps going. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. Yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was punished. No one protested. No one stood up for him. We just let it happen. And then this. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Perfect innocence, buried like a criminal, and God allowed it. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. That line haunts me, because it means this wasn't an accident. This wasn't plan B. This was the plan. God looked at our brokenness, our rebellion, our sin, and instead of abandoning us, he stepped into it. But Isaiah doesn't leave us at the grave. Listen to how it ends. After he has suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. He will see the light of life. Death isn't the end. The grave doesn't win. And then this promise. Therefore I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. The man nobody wanted becomes the one through whom everybody is saved. The face we turned away from becomes the face that saves us. The suffering we couldn't bear to look at becomes the suffering that sets us free. So here's my question for you. Can you look at him now? Can you see the face you turned away from? The suffering you tried to ignore? The love that wouldn't let you go? Isaiah 53 isn't just about Jesus, it's about us. It's about what we do with pain, with suffering, with the people we'd rather not see. And it's about what God did with our pain. He took the face we rejected and made it the face of our salvation. The man nobody wanted us anyway. If this stirred something in you, check out this next story right here.